Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When we were trying to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions. How do we record an episode? How do we get our show into the apps that people like to listen to, like Spotify and Apple Podcasts? How do we make money from our podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. So, if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Everything fucking sucks, but not champagne.
It's almost like you gotta have the you gotta have that kick in sometime.
That feels very Lori Diaz.
Yeah. My hype man is feeling quite normal now. So, what's up, peoples?
How the hell are ya?
What's happening? This is like I don't even know what episode this is now. Seven? Something like that. Yeah.
Lucky number 7.
Cool.
Maybe this one will be the hotness.
Maybe.
It's like there's that part of you that always wants something to go viral, and then there's that part that's like, nah, chill, son, don't go viral. I don't need that kind of headache in my life.
Nah, I'm like,
Nah,
go
you want it
viral.
to
Go
go
viral.
viral.
Go.
That's,
You know?
I'm a motherfucker who likes to make my mistakes in private. I don't need the whole world to be like, who that?
Well,
let me look at every tweet she ever posted since 2012 and break it apart and judge her ass and see all the horrible things she does and says. Trust me, I will say horrible things even currently.
yeah, I ain't too worried about that. I don't really give a shit.
That's because you don't even use your social media.
I do.
You are useless on that ish.
I do.
No, you don't. Barely ever.
I use
the
it.
last time you posted on Instagram was in 2002.
Damn. Instagram.
I might be exaggerating.
Yeah, way.
Instagram was only it back then.
Yeah, it wasn't even Instagram. So.
Oh, look at that. You can now see the rain on the concrete, Alton.
Yeah. She was just telling me. She said, "Oh, it's raining outside," and I'm like, "No, it
Wait,
ain't."
what did I say? I said,
I can smell it.
I can smell it.
Yeah.
And he said, no, it's not. I said, you need to go outside and look. And he comes back and he goes, it's sprinkling.
It's sprinkling. Shit.
But he grudgingly conceded that I was right.
Yep. I'm
And
all good with
so
that.
That brings us into the subject for tonight.
What's the subject? Let's go.
I feel like we're going to need more alcohol for this because this is about to be on and popping.
We got a full glass right here, so.
All right. Damn. Did he just straight call me an alcoholic on the podcast, though?
No, she's an alcoholic.
I got to stop moving in this chair because it's making funky sounds. Oh, and Bubbles.
And
is
Bubbles,
going.
yeah.
So between my
Hey.
sounds and Bubble, why are you yelling at her?
Because she was chewing the damn.
There's a
what?
bone there, you weirdo. Look at it.
Oh, I thought she was.
Do you see
chewing
this
the
abuse
bookcase.
that this girl has to endure?
Hey,
you
wait
see
a minute.
this?
Hey, last week she broke the unbreakable chew toy.
Let's see what she. No, there's a bone there, you weirdo.
Yeah,
just
but
move it out of there so she ain't chewing it.
Hang on, she's chewing wood and stuff. Okay, all right, she good now. All right, Miss Laurie.
All right, so today we're going to talk about Battle of the Sexes.
Okay.
Today we're going to talk about men versus women, the ladies versus the fellas, and I don't mean like in battle, like in combat. Well, I guess some of it could be. But I mean like the way that we interact with one another, the way that we communicate, the way that we perceive men and men perceive us. And so, you know,
That's going to be easy.
I'm a chick, and allegedly you have a, you know, rhymes with. See, I'm a poet.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was nasty. See, I can say all kinds of nasty stuff without even trying. You don't need to go back that far on my Twitter.
Okay. So
let's start.
Hey, y'all, I'm just telling you right now, Lori is running this podcast, this one. Usually I kind of set everything up and we kind of run through the paces, the things that we want to touch on and talk about. And so she didn't flip the script on me right here at the very last minute. And so she going to run this.
I offered up a topic and you said you wasn't in the mood to talk about it. So we're going to talk about this.
That's true. I wasn't. I'm feeling a little, like I got a little juice going right now. So,
we just ate a bomb ass dinner.
Yep.
So
and drinking some good Prosecco.
Drinking some bomb ass Prosecco, and he is hella hype. He's energized, and of course it is raining, so that always puts you in it because it's cooling things down. It's gotten a little muggy the past couple days.
Yeah,
we're not used to the weather. Sacramento has what I like to call all or nothing weather. It's either brick or monsoon rain, or it's hotter than the fourth arc of hell.
Well, and for y'all ain't from the West Coast, brick means cold as hell.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
I keep forgetting. This is like that quarter water thing.
I was the first time she said it, I'm like, who got a brick? Yeah, I was like, what you talking about a brick? Shit,
You almost made me spit out my bubbly.
She's like, nah, it's brick. It's cold. Brick. I was like, oh, okay. So, anyways, just education for y'all. So,
if y'all don't know about brick and quarter water, you need to move on over to the right coast, learn some things, and then come over here when you want to just chill.
Yeah, the only coast is this one. So,
please.
Yeah. Anyways, so what's up with this battle of the sexist thing?
I love all the coasts.
What's up with this battle of the sexist thing? Let's go.
Okay, so here it is. So you get to it's almost difficult to have this conversation when you're in your 20s, because the truth is that in your 20s you're much more selfish. It's more about you. Communication you don't give as much of a fuck about, because you're really kind of like, bitch, I don't like your ass. Next, right?
Right. That's kind of true.
It is. It is. You get a little older, you establish some commitments, you establish some long-term relationships. Hell, if you're in a significant relationship with somebody, significant other, married or otherwise, and then you find you a friend of the opposite sex.
Okay.
These are all things that are, kind of tough discussions for folks.
Okay.
I don't have too many homegirls whose husbands have female friends. Like text each other, go out together.
Right.
I don't have a lot of that. Mm-hmm. I've always had a gang of guy friends. Always. As many good, beautiful sisterhood relationships with women that I've had, I've always had good guy friends. That's not always easy for folks. And I think it's because of the way that men versus women interact. I think that a lot of men think, well, if I got a homegirl, it's because I want to fuck her. And so if she got a homeboy, it's because he wants to fuck her.
Okay.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I have several female friends.
Okay.
Actually, one female friend I have known as long as my best friend, who is a male, and we still keep in touch.
Do y'all go out and have lunch together?
No.
Do y'all kick it together?
No.
Okay. It's
Well, I'm just saying in general. I'm not saying we hook up and go kick it and hang out and any of that stuff. But my point is...
So does that really kind of count as a female friend then?
She is. She's a female, and she is my friend.
Right. Okay, so let's go backwards.
Okay.
Have y'all ever flirted?
Yeah, back in way back in the day. Way back in the day. I mean, this was like decades ago.
You ain't helping yourself at all.
I'm just keeping it real. Fellas, you know, right?
Oh,
back me up.
I can tell you
Okay.
that of the two current dude friends that I have, my
Okay.
two guy friends that I go out with, kick it with, and talk to, we ain't never flirted
Okay.
because we don't want to bang each other.
Okay. So, but you do have friends that you have flirted with. Male friends.
I have, but those male friends I wasn't flirting with when I was in a serious relationship.
Oh, we're in the serious relationship,
Yeah, no.
still flirting. Okay.
I'm talking about people who are essentially committed. So this is my point about communication.
Okay.
Is that if you are in a serious relationship with somebody, right? How y'all communicate is different than how you communicate with people when you're not in a serious relationship.
Correct.
That's why I brought up the point of being a little older.
Yep.
Because like I said, when you're young, I think almost every interaction you have is flirtatious. I worked in the bar business. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
It was all flirtatious. And at the time, I was in a serious relationship when I was in that. And pretty much almost all of my bar career, I was in a very serious relationship. And let me tell you something, there was a lot of flirting.
Okay.
I think it's the nature of the beast, particularly when you're young.
Yeah, people are drinking.
But now we're talking about older, right? Everybody's in a serious situation or more serious situation. And so I guess my point is that the way that women speak and the way that men hear that and the way that men speak and the way women hear that, there seems to be a disconnect.
Okay.
So here's an example.
Go.
You out with your woman.
Okay.
And y'all get in the car. And you say, yo, what you want to eat, Mom? I don't know.
Okay.
This is legit one of the biggest, most contentious arguments in couples.
I hate that. I'm like, come on, you know? And to me, it's like, I kind of feel like, you know, as the guy,
okay,
the guy is 98% of the time paying for the meal.
Did you just take it all the way to the sexist?
Yeah, I did. Let's say that this is non-married.
The last relationship I was in, I paid an awful lot.
Okay, but you different. So I'm just telling you right now, right, fellas, right? That's different, right? But the majority of the time, the guy is paying.
Okay.
For the dinner or the meal.
So because you put your card down, she needs to determine where y'all going.
No.
Let me
finish my point. Let me finish my point. If I was the woman and I was being asked, well, where do you want to go eat? Shit, I would take advantage of that shit. I would be like, Ruth Chris, let's go.
Oh, is that so?
I'd be like, oh, well, let's go wherever.
I'm taking notes.
You know, if I was in that situation,
you would.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Because if they're gonna ask, then answer. Period. But for a person to say, well, I don't know. You know, I understand that it gets to the point, especially if you're a couple that goes out to eat all the time.
You've been out quite a bit.
You've been out, and you've been to those places 500,000 times, and you know the goddamn menu by heart, right?
Damn.
Right? Bartenders.
Real talk.
You walk in, they be like, hey, how's it going?
We ain't seen y'all in a few weeks. Y'all good?
You know, you eat out a lot. And I know it gets to that point where you go, oh, you know what? I don't feel like... I really don't feel like Sellens or Oboe or going to South.
He's talking about some local spots if you're not from here.
Local spots, you know, bacon and butter. I'm good.
Everybody wants bacon and butter all the time, though.
Yeah, I can never say no to
I
bacon
ain't never
and butter.
heard either person that I know that goes there on a regular say that.
Yeah, exactly. So usually people are texting, you at Bacon and Butter?
Damn.
Like, nah, we just left. But my point is, if it's brought up, you know, someone should try to make that fun instead of making it like a chore, and a chore that you hate to answer, and you give the typical answer of I don't know.
Okay, but to that effect, if somebody says to me, what you feel like eating for dinner, and I go, what do you feel like eating, right? Okay. It could be because I know that person has probably eaten out at lunch, and I want to make sure that we don't end up eating that same thing that they had out for lunch.
I get it. I'm okay with that. What do you feel like eating?
Right.
But when the answer comes back, I don't know. That's like you don't even want to put effort to the question.
I got to be honest. I am almost never an I don't know girl, because let me tell you, I was thinking about tomorrow's dinner last Thursday.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a girl who likes to eat some food. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've been planning meals since 1992. Shit, I ain't even live here, and I was like, let me tell you, on April 17th in Sacramento, this is what I want to eat.
Yeah. Okay. But that's a good thing.
Right,
I mean, seriously, that's a good thing because it takes that boring ass answer of I don't know, and it at least puts something to it to where, you know, maybe you guys come up with
a couple of options,
a spot together, right? You say, okay, how about this, or this?
Like, I don't feel like Mexican tonight, so let's
there
talk
you go.
about.
Okay, we eliminate that. You know,
that makes sense.
And then, you know, something I like to do, I'll just jump on Google or something. What's near me or within the next, 10 miles.
If you've traveled with me, Mikey, Aisha, you know that I have an unusual gift for hell, my dad too. for finding bomb ass places to eat off Google. And that can be tough because if you know anything about Google and AdSense, you know that certain places can be pushed up the list on what's visible. But I have a little bit of a gift for finding like bomb ass Google spots. So Google can be a good one.
It can.
Especially if you know how to weed through the fucking ads.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that, to me, that's what's up.
So then is it the I don't know that's the annoying thing, or is it in general indecisiveness?
I don't know is annoying as fuck.
I don't know is annoying
That
as
is
fuck.
annoying as
Okay.
fuck. I mean, it's like, why in the fuck am I even asking? That I mean,
why are you?
Because
Perhaps-
I want your opinion.
Perhaps, and I'm just throwing this out here because I'm a Libra and I gotta weigh all things.
Okay.
Perhaps she wants you to make a plan one night. Perhaps she wants you to go, hey ma, tonight we going out, dressed up a little cute, or hey, I'm taking you out to dinner. It's gonna be super casual, but I got a spot for us. Maybe
Cool.
that's what she's looking for.
Cool. Okay. Hey, that's cool. But you know what?
Can't always be on one person.
Giving a non-answer,
Allergy season, yo.
is not an answer. So
I understand that.
So toss that shit out the window. Say something. Whether it's motherfucking say Taco Bell, right? We ain't going, but I'm just my point is say
she
it.
threw something out, and you're gonna say no.
I'm gonna say fuck no.
Oh,
we
so
ain't going
now,
no goddamn
so
Taco
now,
Bell.
I don't know. It's not annoying. Taco Bell is.
Come on.
How you gonna get? Hey, what if Taco Bell wants to sponsor us? We love Taco Bell.
Oh, I'd be eating some motherfucking chalupas. That's what I'd be doing.
I don't
But
even know what a chalupa is.
Me neither.
Okay, perfect.
But the
got it.
point is, if motherfuckers paying me, I'm gonna eat some chalupas. But still, even if she said Mickey D's, I'm be like, okay, she said something. I think you fucking with me. We ain't going. So I'm gonna throw something at you now, right? So then you turn it into a game,
Right. A game.
Yeah,
okay.
it's a game.
Not a battle of wills,
right?
but a game. Okay.
You throw
I see.
something, I'm gonna throw something back,
Okay.
right? So that's how I see it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. All right. So that's how it is.
That's how it is.
That's how it is.
Okay.
Okay. So what about when you out with your woman and y'all had what you thought was a fun evening, right?
Oh, okay.
Kicking it.
Kicked it.
Get back in the car.
What we do? We hit a movie. We went out, hung
went
out by the
with
water.
people. You hung out with people.
Oh, okay.
Other folks were around,
Okay,
right?
other folks,
Let's
yeah.
put it to that effect.
Got
'cause
it.
I think it's usually it happens more overtly in these scenarios.
Okay.
You out. There's folks around. Y'all kicking it.
All right.
And then it's time to go. And you guys get in the car and you notice she ain't said a whole lot. And she got a face.
What the fuck did I do?
Is that really the way?
yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you ask, you say, yo, ma, what's wrong? And she hits you with the dreaded, I'm fine.
Well,
The truth is, this one
We-
is not as simple as Battle of the Sexes, because the truth is that there are a lot of I'm fine men.
right.
Actually, my boy Rodney, I asked him a question about this particular question we're discussing right now, and he said that you can't gender this conversation.
That's true.
And I was being a brat, and I said,
No,
sure
that-
you can. But he's right. You
He's
really
right.
kind of can't.
Yeah.
So in all situations, depending on the two personalities involved, there is one person who I think is the more, I want to say the more laid back, or the more indecisive, or the less communicative. And then
Yes.
there's the one who's a little more assertive, a little more confident in communicating and expressing their feelings.
Yep.
But so you go out, y'all kicking it, and they hit you with the dreaded I'm fine. I'm going to tell you something. The I'm fine is a massive trigger for me.
Yeah.
I don't like to be hit with I'm fine.
That I'm fine. That, like
It's
I
some
said, the
bullshit.
first thing that hits me is like, what the fuck did I do? Now I'm trying to think. I'm
But
sitting here.
why is it then that your very first thing is what did I do?
Because if it's I'm fine, the chances that something I did, I said, how I acted, it's something about me, because that's usually what it would be. I'm just saying from a guy's perspective, right? In general, no, I'm not talking about any special circumstance or whatever.
You don't even consider that some bitch at the party annoyed her life.
Well, because
just think to yourself, what did I do wrong?
Because something like that, I would imagine that she would say, "Oh, that bitch over there, I can't stand her." She, whoop-de-whoop, de-whoop-de-whoop, and that was that.
Can you spell that?
Yes, shoobity-whoop, right? And that was that, right? But if she cuts it off like, I'm fine, then it's basically, okay, I'm just going to go home and shut up and brush my teeth
But then
and
why
go to
not?
sleep.
But then why not say, clearly you're not fine. I would like to discuss this. So it doesn't turn into a long drawn out argument or a long drawn out silent treatment. See, I don't even know what that shit is called because I ain't never did. Listen, let me tell you one thing about me. You ain't getting no silent treatment over here. I'll be like, oh, funny you should ask. Let me quantify the many reasons I am pissed off and how you contributed to this level of anger.
But you are the unicorn. You got rainbows and shit on you, right? So
okay, I got rainbows.
I'm just saying.
Since none of my 1 in 3 children will be gay, I guess I'll be the one. Never mind, different rainbow.
Yeah, different rainbow. Come on now, come back. Okay. So yeah, you're different. All right, and you've heard it a million times by a million different people, and I know this. You are very different than the average woman. Not saying it's bad. No. Not saying good. I'm just saying in general, your approach to things is a lot different than anyone that I've ever experienced, as in friendship or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I can't count you as the norm or the majority because I don't think you are, honestly. Going to your point of why wouldn't you say, hey, well, obviously something's wrong.
Right.
You know, I will say that more than likely is the instance. You would say, are you sure? You know, it seems like something's up.
But then I think asking, are you sure, is already... So I asked this question of a couple of my married friends, and one of them hit me back, and she said that her husband's way was to sweep things under the rug. Like, it's a very much like, okay, you didn't answer the question, so we're just going to move on. And then by tomorrow, he don't even want to talk about it anymore because it's in the past.
Yeah. Until you got to climb over the rug, right? Because he done swept so much shit up under it. Right, you gotta climb over.
Y'all can't even see each other no more with that motherfucking rap. That shit like Mount Vesuvius. You're like, hey, where you at, girl? And she's still over there pissed off.
All this shit under the rug, I can't see you, baby. You know,
she claiming a new zip code and shit.
This woman.
So my point is that I think that this. I'm sorry. I don't want to say gender us, but I am going to put men and women, because I'm speaking specifically to my experiences. I try to always remind people of that. Obviously, we include our, 2 guys in a relationship, 2 ladies in a relationship. Obviously, we are inclusive of all.
Yeah, absolutely.
But my experiences are based on my relationships and situations, and those relationships and situations have been with a man. So when I say I am, placing us in the genders and the sexes, I am speaking specifically for myself. Let me be clear. And then I am correlating that to my experiences with most of my friends. Most of my friends are straight. My few friends that are not either live too far away from me to have enough experience to be able to sort of relate some of them, or they out hoeing. Ooh. I'm not saying no names.
Don't go there.
I don't have like a close to me where I live currently relationship friends that are gay. My friends who are gay who are married lived in Nashville. So, and we're just not close enough for me to have that kind of day-to-day experience to refer to. So I always try to remind people of that because, this party is extremely inclusive.
But you do have some friends that are gay.
Oh yeah, I got a ton of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But again, the ones that I have that are close to here, most of them, especially the ones that I would be close enough with to have insight to their relationship, they still out there looking. They're not in married relationships.
Right.
But anyway, so that's something that I've seen with a lot of the husbands in my friends' relationships and some of my past experiences.
Sweeping under the rug.
It's almost like rather than awaken the beast further, because the beast is awoke, right? She's sitting there, she's seething, she got that face that we get
on fire
when we mad, and that could be both. It could be the dude too, because I have some interactions with I'm fine fellas, and they sitting there trying to tell you they good, and they all slack faced, ain't no expression whatsoever. They rolling their eyes, cutting their eyes all sharp. You turn too quick, you might get your damn hair pricked. The ones.
Pricked.
Not that prick. They acting like a prick.
Damn. Okay.
But you feel me? When somebody is sitting next to you visibly tense.
Right.
And as opposed to, I'ma just A, do the mental Rolodex rewind of what I could have done to piss her off.
Right.
Or B, I'm going to just go home and move real quiet. This is a big one that in my experience men like to do. I'm just going to be very quiet and move cautiously so that her crazy is magnified and I seem like the rational, sane one. I know this motherfucking trick, y'all. Right? Instead of doing that and letting something that really probably at that moment could be sorted out, there's this idea like, I'm just going to leave her ass alone and let her simmer in it. To me, simmering is just the beginning before the boil.
Yeah, but if she's talking she fine, then she's not offering anything.
But do you know she's fine or that she's not fine?
You know she's not.
So that's your person. Where's the communication for you to say, you good?
Yeah.
Making sure.
Nah.
Where's the communication level that you have with your person where you say, look, I know you're not fine. And if what you need is a minute to process, you can say that and I'll back up off you. But it's obvious to me you're not fine. And I care that you're sitting here not fine. It's upsetting me to see you clearly upset. I feel like those little baby steps go such a long way to diffusing things. You ever watch Sex and the City? I'm going to guess you're going to say no.
Well, I'm going to say back in the day, I might have seen an episode or two, but that's about it.
I get it. Really and truly, most of the time it was women watching that show. But I didn't watch that show as it was airing. I didn't even have cable TV
I think I watched a couple when it was. I just remember there was the one chick who was the hoe. And then you had, well, you know, that's what you'd remember, you know, but anyways.
She one of my favorite though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, but so I started watching that show much later on. In fact, I think the last season was airing when I started catching the earlier episodes when they were like on repeat. But later on, when I got fully caught up, there was a great episode with the lead character going through a breakup with this guy.
Okay.
And they were having kind of a not so great relationship. It was tumultuous at best, I'll say. You know, he wasn't great at effectively communicating. He was the lack of communicator. And it created a couple of issues for them where they got together, broke up, and then they get back together, right? They've had a few breakups and he's back and he wants to be with her. He brings her the flowers. They're together, they hook up, and then she wakes up in the morning, he's not in the bed, and he leaves her a Post-it.
A Post-it?
A Post-it.
What'd the Post-it say?
Oh, wait, I want to make sure I get it right. Hold on. I remember most of it, but if I fuck this up, the women of the world will fuck me up. Hold on.
He left a Post-it.
That's how he broke up with her.
Damn, that's raw.
And it said, it's so funny, literally all I typed was her name and Post-it. I'm sorry, I can't, don't hate me.
Okay.
That's how he broke up with this girl.
Okay. Hey, he got to the point. He was done. Peace.
Oh, so you think it's acceptable to end a relationship with somebody like that?
No. I think that's totally unacceptable.
Same thing with communicating. He knew when he wrote that he was being a whole ass coward and avoiding the uncomfortable conversation.
Yep.
And that is what I think happens with a lot of men and their women in their life. It's like, oh, she's clearly pissed. I asked her if she was okay. She said, I'm fine. No, sometimes you have to put in that little extra legwork, and it doesn't always have to be like, well, bitch, I asked you what's wrong. Sometimes you got to look at your woman and go, it's obvious to me you're upset, and I don't want you to be that way. And you would be shocked at how quickly that can soften someone. I'm not saying everyone. Obviously, you can never paint any relationship brush with everyone and anyone. I'm saying in large part.
Well, I'm going to say that when someone hits you with the I'm fine,
right?
And we're not talking about this is the first time this has happened. We're talking this is like the 10th time through a relationship that this has happened.
Well, but then have you allowed that to become the normal?
No, I'm not going to say that. But what I am going to say is every time you try to address it and you get nothing out of it, it gets to a point in a guy's mind, you'd be like, okay, fuck it then. Right?
Well, then before
you say, fuck it. That's what guys do because you ask, and then when you get nothing in return, obviously she does not want to tell you. So and I'm speaking from I can say this is some of my past experience.
Okay.
Right.
That's all we can refer.
Right.
We can only draw on our own.
Right. This is some of my past experience that when you inquire and you get nothing in return, right? You just get to that point. Well, fuck it. Then here's the routine, here's the cycle, right?
But why did we let it become the routine and the cycle?
But who said I let it?
I'm not saying
right.
I'm saying that if in a relationship, and this is my own personal experience from a recent relationship.
Okay.
I am saying that I was involved with somebody who was coming out of their own situation where there was no communication. So this was something that they had become, like, that was their regular, right? There was no communication. Then you end up in a situation with somebody like me who is like, we're going to communicate until our hair follicles bleed. Because
I was sipping the Prosecco. And
I like everything to be up front. I'm not a fan of surprises. I am not a fan of these conversations that come seemingly out of left field, and really they're not, because they've built and bubbled up in behind the scenes. So if my interaction was like, okay, this person's not great, but then what was happening was that conversations were happening now when people were either angry or their feelings were hurt. As opposed to saying, which is what I did, when things were good, I said, this right here, the way that you do this, maybe we can talk about it or address it before we get to this point. You cannot always say, I'm fine, and then I know you're fine. Because I'm like a pit bull. I'm going to keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. Unless you say, now, this is the breakdown of that. If somebody looks at me and says, I am not ready to talk right now, I need time to process, I will respect that. It'll be difficult, but I will respect it. But if you continue to say to somebody that you're fine and they're clearly not, then you have two choices. You either opt to really try to get that communication changed. You try to change that before it becomes a habit.
Right.
And then now you've asked them 10 different times on 10 different occasions if they good, and they say they fine, and you're like, fuck you, bitch. Because now you've now developed a resentment.
Right.
Because this has become y'all's normal.
Right.
But things cannot become normal if you both stop allowing things to become habitual. And that means you both have to make effort.
And the key word is both.
No, that is the key word.
Is both.
That is the key word.
I mean,
everyone's got to be willing to change.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can sit there and
bitches. Sorry, for real. I had to get all up in there real quick. My bad. We're good now.
Okay.
Sorry. If you heard the snap of my bra, I apologize.
All right. I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about, y'all. Here's what Lori was talking about.
The key word was both, is what you were talking about.
I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. So the weather this week is supposed to rain.
I had to handle that. No, so you were saying that it's got to be both of you work towards not letting something become a habit. It has to be
both, and
that's fair.
And that's usually the issue. And I'm going to speak from a general guy's point. On the general guy's side, guys aren't awesome communicators. The majority of us are not.
Well, that's just an excuse, though.
I don't care if it's an excuse or what. I'm making the point to say that guys in general are not the best communicators. The women are usually the better communicators.
I would agree.
And it gets to that point where, depending on what kind of relationship you have, who the relationship is with.
But that's because nobody's demanded that you change it.
That could be. It could be. I don't have an answer for that.
Ain't nothing like really loving a woman. Like, you feeling this chick, right? Mm-hmm. Things are popping. And she makes a demand that you change something that, I'm not saying like change your hair color. I'm not saying something like that. I'm saying
I was going to say we'd have a problem with that because I ain't got no hair. So
I mean, she makes a demand upon a change of you that is for the betterment of the relationship.
Yeah.
That she says, the way that you do this does not work. And you sit back and you acknowledge the way that you're doing this. The example being don't communicate well. You acknowledge you don't communicate well. If somebody does not say, that ain't going to cut it if you want to continue to rock with me. If you do continue this, I'm a bounce. Let me tell you something. That'll get a motherfucker's attention.
Well, there's balance to that too.
Correct. I'm not saying that they can always make demands upon you, changing you. That's not what I mean.
Because then that person changes who they are to the point where they're not who they truly are.
Agreed. That's not what I'm referring to.
And that's what happens to a lot of people. A lot of people start catering to someone so much and giving them what they want, that they don't get what they need. And so then all of a sudden, years down the line, now you've become someone who you're not happy with.
Right.
Remember the whole thing we were talking about? Can you look in the mirror and say,
Right.
I'm happy with who I am?
Right.
And, the mistakes I've made, the accomplishments I've made, who I am right now, this very moment, I'm
good.
happy
Right.
with, right?
Right.
But you start to cater to someone so much that you're no longer you.
But I think that's where you have to have your own personal boundaries.
But I think there has to be this it has to be this balance from the one who's demanding. So the one who's demanding, and actually I don't think demanding is the right word.
Okay, maybe that's not the right word.
I want to change that because that seems forceful, right?
Okay.
So
Sometimes you have to be, though.
I get that, but a relationship is something fairly delicate. It's not about forcing a way into something or forcing someone to do something. Because if they're doing something that they don't want to do, then you create resentment.
Okay.
And you create animosity. And that's not what you want in a relationship. I think it's more of like you want to guide someone to where you want them to be. Right? You don't want to demand or tell them that that's how it absolutely has to be.
But just as easily as you can say guide someone, someone else could come in and say manipulate. So I think that the word is specific to the context of the conversation that we're having, not necessarily, kind of like the word selfish. I always use that as the example. Selfish always gets such a bad reputation for being a bad word, but frankly speaking, sometimes you must be selfish.
Absolutely.
Same thing with sometimes you must make a demand of someone to change because that is their normal. They have never had anyone say what you're doing isn't working. It hasn't worked in the past, and right now it is affecting our forward progress. So I'm asking you to make a change, but I am also letting you know that if you don't make that change, this potentially has some impact on where we can go. That is a demand. It isn't a fuck you, do this or I'm out. That's an ultimatum. And I think that's a word that is forceful. I think that is a word that has negative connotation. But I have in the past had to make a demand for something. And if that demand is made, it is because we've reached a place where I have communicated something in a more gentle way and it hasn't been met. And that person has acknowledged in the past when I've made that request that this is something they need to move towards, but they ain't doing it.
So I think the important part of this conversation is the fact that you just took a step back and put the precursor to it.
Okay.
You said, I mentioned to this person, I talked to this person.
Okay, that's fair.
They know
100%.
that this is something that we've talked about. They've said that this is what they're going to do, and through X amount of time, it didn't happen. Now we're at this point. Now I'm demanding it. Okay, now that is a little different scenario.
Right.
Right? Now it's not the, you know what, you need to change. That's it.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean?
I understand what you're
that was my perspective of,
I gotcha.
of what we were just
and
talking
I think
about.
That maybe in that you might have been talking about a personal experience and how that was being approached.
If everything I'm talking about is
your personal
a personal
Okay.
experience.
I gotcha.
And I'm not saying this is personal experience from a year ago,
No,
or it
no,
could
no,
be
no,
10,
no.
it could be 15,
Hell,
20 years ago.
We in our 40s.
Yeah.
There've been a few experiences.
Yeah, we've had a few experiences. So yeah, I just the fact that you made that point, that makes more sense. But if you were to come at someone and say, hey, you know what, you need to change this because basically you don't like it or you don't think it's good, I think
I think that's
it's a
very
total
different.
wrong approach.
Yeah, no, I think that's very different.
Right.
I think that if two people have had a conversation, and I'll go again back to your reference of men not being as good of a communicator, right? If you know in that car she's upset about something, right? And you've had 7 other interactions with her in the past where
same way
you've asked and it's ended the same way where she says she's fine and then later on 3 days later it's a full blowout.
Yep.
You're partially responsible for that behavior. It's not just hers. Because
you can't make somebody speak though.
But hear me out. Nothing is 100% one person's fault. Somebody is walking up to my house again. I'm getting real tired. Let me tell you something. I don't know if it's the New York thing in me, but I do not like solicitors. Don't walk up on my house.
Hear the dog barking.
Yeah, it's so obnoxious.
Her
I'm
dog's
going to get
barking.
a sign that says, I have a shotgun. If you come over here trying to push something on me, I'm going to answer with a click, click.
Yeah.
But so my point is, if you have gotten to the point where you've had 10 interactions of I'm fine and you're like, fuck it, I quit, she is not the only person in the wrong. You too are in the wrong. No, you can't force someone to speak, but what you can do is say, when you close me out like that, it hurts me. And I know something's wrong. So then I'm sitting around spinning, trying to figure out what was it that upset you, what went wrong, how things are, and you're closing me out. That is not the way for a healthy relationship to have forward progress. So I think that your approach to a person has just as much to do with the way that another person has a reaction. Kind of like what you said about the word demand.
Yes, I agree.
I could see where if you didn't have the previous portion of that, which is I addressed it a few times before, you could see the word demand in a negative way. Having said that, though, habits are not formed overnight.
Nope.
Bad habits are certainly not formed in one-time experience. And if you allow for a person to repeatedly, get away with a bad behavior, then ultimately what is going to happen is they're going to take that as y'all's normal. If you don't want that to become your normal, then you have to put forth the effort to change it before it becomes the normal.
No, I agree.
That's what I'm saying about communication. So I'm fine doesn't fly with me.
Right. I get it.
Is he about to ring the bell?
No.
That's why I tried closing the thing. And closing the thing. Sorry, he hit up the other side, but not mine. All right, we're back to having a little fresh air here.
It's like stuffy. It's like stuffy hot,
it
man.
Is, and this window is wonky.
It ain't my window.
You said that. There we go. So that's my point. My point is that it's really easy to sit back and go, well, this bitch didn't answer me, and I asked. Right, but you've allowed this situation between y'all to become your way of communicating. So you're just as responsible. And it could be vice versa. It could be the woman talking to a man and he's saying, I'm fine. Y'all have to actively work towards your healthy communication.
Just again, to reiterate, it takes two. Mm-hmm. So if you're the person who is, I'm fine, it's fine, all you're doing is creating a situation.
Correct.
If that person is coming back to you and saying, hey, talk to me, you can talk to me, tell me what's going on, I'm concerned, I'm worried or whatever.
Right.
And if you continue to give the it's fine, then it falls back on you.
Agreed.
It falls back on you.
I'm not saying that the blame percentage is not 95.5, but what I am saying is that when there is a breakdown in communication, almost always there is a split to the blame.
But it takes two. That's the
agree.
bottom line. It takes two.
And that's the way. That's the only way to split blame.
Yeah.
Is that it's two people involved.
Right.
It's a person involved in the bad behavior, but it's also a person involved in the bad habit. So everybody has to actively work towards becoming healthier. And so when you have all of this, men don't listen, she crying and I'm trying to teach her how to fix it, and she mad at me because she don't want me to fix it. That's because there's a breakdown in the communication and the expectation of what you want when you do communicate with a person. I know that if I'm upset and I'm crying and something is bothering me, and the person that I'm unloading that on, who I'm in a situation with where I can unload, you don't want to be the guy who's just unloading your shit on everybody. But if you're in a situation and they're like, I can tell you're in a bad mood, and you're like, I am in a bad mood, and you get upset and you start crying, that person's like, well, here's the 3 ways to fix it. That's not what somebody wants every time. Sometimes a person just wants to download what is in their head,
right,
and process.
Sometimes people just need to be the listening person.
That's
it.
Just
be there to listen. I am I think I'm a very logical person. And so that what you were just saying about can it fix it deal, that's me. I'm the fixer. I'm what's the problem? Oh shit, we can fix that. Let's fix it, mm-hmm. Right? So for me, sometimes I need to hear, I just need for you to listen. And if that's what I'm given, then I am all ears.
And
I'm
that is healthy communication.
Yeah, I'm all ears.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm like
because now you're just taking that moment to let somebody process something. Sometimes just saying it out loud is a way to work through it.
I do it all the time.
And maybe that person wouldn't take one of the 3 options you might have offered,
right.
But it's the way that it works for them. And so, I think a lot of what the breakdown in relationships is that people just want to be heard. They just want to be heard.
Yeah.
They just want to say what they have to say and feel like you didn't just wait for your turn to respond, that you actually listened.
Yeah.
And that can be hard because, I don't want to blame social media, but I do need to reference the fact that social media has allowed us all to just kind of speak. I'm using air quotes here. Y'all can't see it, but like blurt out what's on your mind mindlessly. Just put it out there.
Please don't. Please don't.
And so it really has kind of fucked up the way that communication happens in real life. That's why you got this. And I am not one of those people who's like, this generation. I read somewhere the other day, or somebody said, maybe it was on here, that somebody said millennials are killing marriage.
Yeah,
was that you?
That was an article I read. Yeah,
like,
there was
guy.
like 15 things that the millennials are killing.
I'm not that fucking guy, okay?
And I was like, wow.
Like, it's so crazy to me that you're gonna fucking write off an entire. That's the fastest way to be an old ass motherfucker. This generation.
Yes, exactly.
Our generation had their fuck ups, and the generation before us had their fuck ups. Everybody fucks up. No one's perfect.
And everything changes.
It does.
Everything.
And humans change with those changes.
That's right.
But what I will say though is, and this doesn't just apply to the young kids or the millennials, or if you are a person who is active on socials, it is very easy to like pop off that tweet or post that Facebook or post that passive aggressive Instagram, the meme. Yes,
yeah.
It's easy. It really is. I'm not going to tell you I'm not 100% guilty of it. I'm not. I've done it once or twice. I've done it a few times.
I was going to say.
I've done it a few times. I've talked some shit on the side. But the point is that when I have, it has not been a, I wonder if she means me. Like, if you've pissed me off, know you've pissed me off.
Right.
Okay? Sometimes some shit might just be funny and applicable if I'm keeping it real.
Well, I'm just going to say, I know we ain't really talking like social media stuff, but I cannot stand the motherfuckers that put their whole everything on social media. Like,
yo, I got this green stuff coming out my baby toe. Anybody know what that is?
Oh, my God. Fuck my baby daddy. He's an asshole. I'm like, damn. Please.
I got one on hardcore baby mama stuff. Somebody I went to school with. I won't say when and where, but this bitch, this, and all she wants is my money and la la la. And I'm like, hey, man, this ain't the place.
This is not the place. Social media is not for that, But
some would argue that it is.
Right.
It's almost like social media has replaced a journal.
Yeah, in a sense it has, but your journal is open to the world. Instead of your journal / diary,
right, being the place you write things down and process
your secrets, right. Instead, if you out there hoeing around, now they can see you kind of like hoeing around, right?
We celebrate hoism now.
Well, that's true too. The Kardashians. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. But hoism
pays. The Kardashians ain't the only hoes. A lot of the motherfuckers they in relationships with the hoes. Yeah. Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, I get it. But
listen, this is the deal though. I think that rather than thinking that if you're a hoe, it's out there, I would say in the interest of more of an open, accepting space, your business is no longer as private,
right?
Because you've now made it public. So it's where I struggle with this. Like, you want to be a hoe it the fuck up. Like, I'll be like, bitch, get it, get you all, whatever. If dick, pussy, whatever you like, party. If you're safe and you happy, I am here for it. But then you can't turn around and be like, you don't get to have an opinion on my life. Well, you've put your life out there.
Yeah.
Therefore, you are inviting opinions.
How do we go from relationships to hoism?
Well, some relationships have ended because of hoism.
And some have started because of hoism. Keeping it real.
Damn.
Yeah.
But so going back to communication, another issue is I've got a friend I asked for some people's feedback. So if you
Who's your
notice-
friend?
Oh,
okay.
I've got a friend, because I believe in keeping shit private.
Okay.
Who is not a great communicator. She's the woman who is not a good communicator.
Okay.
In fact, sometimes, and this my bitch, like I love this motherfucker, but sometimes you be like, bitch, what your problem is? Because you know something's bugging her and she will not say it.
Right.
But she's like a Brinks truck. You know, you got to get through 4 armed motherfuckers to get to what's in there.
The Great
right?
Wall,
yes.
with alligators.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she, you know, in response to my question was saying that, like, you know, she had a weekend where she was kind of having this big old pity party and, you know, all up in her feelings and doing what she does, which is to shut down and withdraw. She herself admitted it probably would have ended more quickly if I would have spoken about it. But she didn't. And so I happen to know that the person she's in a relationship with is a wonderful human. She is too. Let me be very, very clear. They're wonderful people. But she can be tough to have any kind of a relationship with, not just a personal one. You know, a friendship can be tough because she's so guarded. And I'm like in this constant battle with her, like, I need you to open up more. I need you to share more. I need you to open up more. And then I realize she's not like me.
I told you, you a unicorn. you that unicorn that what was it? Shit, softy
I'm
snow
gonna take
cones.
that as a compliment. Okay.
You know, I mean, lays on beds of cotton candy. You know, it's a little.
That's right. I need some sweet to balance all this salt.
Yeah. Woo. I didn't know I had Salt Bay up in here.
Somebody told me once that I was like a Sour Patch Kid, like sweet and sour at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
love me, I hate you. I was like,
Yeah.
that could be true. No, but that goes to that thing. It's like, kind of like what you were saying. Not everyone is the same. Not everyone is open. But if you are saying in one breath, that's just what the fuck I did. I was in the mood and I handled it. And then in the very next breath admitting you might have been able to cut down some of that misery time.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Then you have to say that just because we're not all the same, okay, I'm not like her, she's not like me. But the truth of the matter is she's already acknowledging that she should be able to communicate better. So they're both at fault.
Yes.
Because he should be like, I'm not going to let you lay in this bed all weekend and be a whole ass pain in the ass.
Right.
I'm going to ask you, let's go out, let's spend some quality time together. And then when you've moved into a better headspace, maybe then you can talk. Now, he's not saying you're not entitled to those feelings.
Yes, but on the other hand with that is if he continually has to do that.
Right, you don't always want to dig and dig and dig and dig.
And if he's digging and digging and digging and you don't give him anything, then it will come the point where he's not going to dig anymore. She is not going to dig anymore.
Right.
Right? Because we can't put this as he, she. It's either side.
It is.
Right? So if you're going to play that role of the silent treatment, if you're going to play that role of I'm just going to give him a little tidbit or give her a little tidbit of what's going on, but I'm not going to tell the other person, then that's shame on you. You should come out and say how you feel. I mean, I'm guilty of all this stuff we're talking about. All of it, right?
Same on a different scale, but yes.
Yeah,
I have had
I'm
my
guilty of
moment
all
where
of
I'm
it.
just pissy and I don't want to talk to your ass.
Yeah,
but it's rare.
I've done it.
It's rare.
I'm fine. And then X much time later.
I
then,
told you
then
we
all
needed more. You don't listen to me.
Well, I didn't chill another bottle. That's all I had there. So, but I'm guilty of all of this. I've experienced it. I've seen it. I've dealt
You've
with
done it and you've dealt
I've done
with
it.
it.
I've all of this. So this is like, I don't want to say it's showing hell ain't secondhand.
No, it's real.
But it's real.
It's real life. And I guess the reason that I kind of wanted to have this conversation is because I have the great fortune of having some friends in some really beautiful relationships with some really awesome people. And I'm not just talking about the women. I'm talking about both of them, the men and the women. I have some homegirls who have some fucking awesome ass husbands. And I have some homeboys who have some fucking awesome ass wives. And as much as marriage might not be the thing for me personally, and has nothing to do with the relationship, that's not why marriage is not for me. As much as marriage is not the thing for me, I respect the fuck out of my people who chose to get married. And I want to see them succeed. So when I'm sitting back, I want to say non-biased, because if you're my friend and you're the woman and I see you acting out and you're not doing right by your dude who I know is a good dude, I'm going to tell you you're not doing right. I'm not that friend who is going to feed you a spoonful of sugar and tell you you're the most amazing thing that walked the planet. I'm going to tell you acting like a whole brat and you need to check yourself. I want to see those people win. I want them to be the thing that I say, marriage ain't for me, but let me tell you something. I'm lucky enough to witness that shit work. And the problem is I see so many situations where it doesn't work.
Right.
But at the core of the reasons that relationships don't work, in my experience, and I'm not saying all, I'm saying most, is that there becomes a breakdown in communication. You start to accept when they say, I'm fine. You start to accept when they're giving you the silent treatment. And you start to say, I'm tired of asking. And then they're like, he ain't asking no more, so fuck him, I'm not answering. And then you start to not go to each other when things are wrong anymore. Now you start talking about each other to outside people. And now you're building up this fucking Rolodex of the reasons why they've pissed you off. So you're just building up resentment. Now y'all ain't communicating with each other no more. And then someone starts communicating with someone they shouldn't be.
I was going to say, and then
someone comes in.
The lack of sex kicks in.
Listen. So
that is
I'm going to go ahead and
that's
say.
a serious thing.
I'm going to go ahead and say I have kind of jokingly laughed about the unicorn thing. But I'm going to keep it real with a lot of y'all. And those of you who are my friends, Dad, if you are listening to this podcast, turn it off now. You've been warned. I'm going to go ahead and tell you something. If you're my friend, you know this to be true. One of the spaces that I will very quickly jump in and inject my opinion on my friends' relationships is I'll be like, y'all still fucking? And I will tell you that 8 out of 10 of my friends will be like, I'm mad at him. We ain't having sex. Was your pussy mad at him?
Ooh.
Because here's the deal. I used to work for this dude, and he told me, I don't agree with this, but I'm going to repeat what he said. He said, y'all complicate this shit. You women make it hard. We want to stick our dick in something. We want to take a nap afterwards. When we get up, we want to eat a sandwich. And then we want to go and either conquer some shit or earn some money. It's that simple. That's what men need. And I was like, damn.
It's quite accurate. It's quite accurate.
He's like, y'all want to fuck it all up and complicate it with your feelings. Okay, so where I disagree with him is I think that men are capable of being more emotionally available for feelings. Y'all got to have some fucking feelings, so stop that shit, okay? You're not fucking cavemen anymore.
No, we do. That is dead true. We have to.
But I do believe that on a kind of more base level, he is kind of onto something. And where communication between men and women can be very broken, and in my experience with a lot of people that I know, women, their sex drive starts in their brain. They gotta feel wanted. They gotta feel loved, adored, whatever the thing is. They gotta feel
the fellas.
No, dudes. You know, the wind blew the right way, and that dick is hard, and they gotta put it in something. See,
okay.
I'm like, if I'm fighting with my dude and he's pissed me off, I'm like, you acted like an asshole, so why should I be punished by not getting laid? Like, we gonna fuck. I might not talk to you afterwards. I might be like, bye, motherfucker. I got what I needed. But I might be more amenable to hearing your motherfucking side after a few orgasms.
So many people say Lori's like a dude, you know.
I hear that a lot, and I don't necessarily think that that's a fair statement. I think that I'm able to understand that when I am satiated on a physical level, the things that are going on in my mind are a little easier to approach. But I also understand that there are people who, if they're frustrated or angry, the physical part of them doesn't work. Well, I hear them when they say that, and I understand that that's how they feel. Right. I don't understand that. Me, I'm like...
But they're the ones that feel they have to be married, too.
A lot of the time, that does go hand in hand. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
it does.
You very seldom hear that in a relationship where there is not marriage.
That's true.
Right? It's always a relationship with marriage.
Nearly
that
always,
you hear
yes.
that,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
And the truth of the matter is that if y'all, I have joked about this a lot. I've heard from a lot of friends I should be a marriage counselor, which is sort of ridiculously ironic.
damn.
But
You'd be hella cheap, huh?
listen, I'm gonna tell you about how my therapy room would be. Ready? There would be the waiting room. Then there would be my office, and then there'd be like a side room next to where we would sit down for the therapy session. And that room would have a bed, lube, candles, maybe some porn. And I'd be like, okay, your session will begin after y'all fuck. And I'm serious because I feel like so often sex starts to become the bargaining tool in the relationship.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna fuck you because I'm mad,
Yeah.
or if you don't fuck me, then it can't be a bargaining tool.
Right.
Y'all have to understand that if you don't connect physically, a lot of other shit starts to fall apart.
Right.
But again, I understand that this is where I'm very different than most women. And so that, that's where things become a struggle. Because for me, it's very simple. It's like, y'all fucking?
Yeah, I get it.
I guarantee you he'd be listening. That motherfucker be a lot happier throwing the garbage away if his dick been sucked. Okay? You'd be a whole lot happier cooking the dinner.
I might take out the trash right now. Shit. Yeah.
You'd be a whole lot happier cooking the dinner tonight if when he came through the door, he got to eating dinner elsewhere first, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If he ate out before he ate in, you might be like, baby, let me cook you a little. Let me make you that sandwich, boo.
What kind of cheese you want?
Oh, God, don't make a cheese joke after you talked about oral. That was terrible.
Man. Okay. Well, it was better than talking about sauce. So, anyways. Well, I think we're going to have to take this up on the next episode.
I tell you what, here's a great idea. Here's how we break it down.
All right.
On this one, we'll end it with if you have a contribution to this,
yeah,
you can hit us up privately or you can hit us up on the post when we share this and tell us what you think makes better communication in a relationship. And hey, I'm open to you disagreeing with me. You might be like, I ain't slobbing nobody's fucking knob for the trash to go out. I'm not saying that. Take a moment, process what I said. Understand that you might just be a little more relaxed and forgiving if you got the kink worked out your spine.
I'm with that. I'm with that. Shoot.
So this conversation, Battle of the Sexes, if you will, is to be continued.
Yeah, we will continue this, and
but we need to hear from y'all too.
Yeah, fellas, what's up?
I know all the ladies be all up in there sharing, and the dudes are on mute.
I know, fellas. I mean, where's your side? What do you think?
You ain't got no friends?
I guess not. Shit, I'm solo dolo over here. I'm like trying to get a friend to respond to some of this. You
need to start hitting them up, tagging them motherfuckers personally. Be like, hey, what you think?
I know,
dog?
I know. Start showing up at their house and shit.
Speaking of dog, though, your dog been unusually quiet today.
Bubs is laying there almost asleep.
Is she sad?
I don't know.
What's going on with her tonight?
I don't know.
Ain't no snorting?
Nah.
No snarfing?
No, see, I don't know. We'll see what's up. But anyways,
we'll rile her up for the next one.
Yo, we're gonna continue this one definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, give us some feedback.
Yes.
Tell us what's up.
Yeah.
Talk
to us about your tricks for your communication in your relationship. What works for you?
There you go. I'd like to hear what works.
Yeah.
And then we can share that with.
Or you could tell us what definitely don't work. Like, bitch, I said. Let me tell you, that's not gonna work.
Yeah. Anyways. All right, y'all. We're gonna wrap this one up. And until the next one,
holla.
peace.